trying to do.
Who said it was a problem?
You did when you said, like squeezing a balloon, it accomplishes nothing because like squeezing a balloon, it just merely moves.
Wow, look at all these kids here. I like to see a chamber of life.
All right, it is 7:14, and I just would like to remind everyone that we have two brief meetings before we get to the regular city council agenda. So I'm on the yellow agenda, if you picked one up in the hallway. This is the Management of Emeryville Services Authority, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. And please note, we are all still here. At this time, I'd like to entertain any public comment within the subject matter jurisdiction of Management of Emeryville Services Authority. So that would be folks who are employed with the city. Would anyone like to comment publicly on public employment here in the city of Emeryville? Seeing none, there are no special orders of the day. Is there a motion on the consent calendar?
So moved.
Consent calendar.
Second.
So we have a motion by Davis and a second by Asher. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Asher.
Aye.
Councilmember Atkin.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue.
Aye.
Mayor Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously.
Okay, we're moving on to action items. Is there a staff report to be presented?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, Ian Appleyard, Human Resources Director. And what we have is a number of classifications and adjustments to the classification plan in front of you. So I can go through each one individually, or if there are specific questions related to the resolutions in front of you, I can entertain those.
I'd like to move the items.
All together?
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I think we have the information we need. So we have a motion by Asher, a second by Atkin. Is there any discussion?
Is there any public comment?
Is there any public comment?
Any union representation? See me, Ruth.
This, please, come forward.
Ruth Major. I just have a comment. I know this is about the salary ranges and the classification, But I'm wondering if, in looking at this and looking at the reorganization, what was built into the whole programming was time off the floor for reflection and training. Because unless that happens, no program can be as good as it can be. Teachers need time off the floor for reflection. Teachers need time off the floor for training. So I don't know how that plays into the reorganization, but it's something that should be considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you. And would staff have any comments on this?
Pedro?
I'm going to ask Pedro Jimenez to comment on it because he's will be looking over the operations aspect.
Good evening. Yes, it does include that. This puts us at the best possible setup to be able to allow for teachers to go to trainings and attend meetings and have professional development. So that was incorporated in this reorganization.
Call the question.
Public comment? I'd like to call to everyone's attention what just happened just now. And that it was a citizen came up, spoke, and then there was some discussion about what the citizen had said. Not a substantive discussion, so hence there was no Brown Act violation. But there was a little bit of discussion about it, and that's perfectly fine. But I want this moment noted, because next time the council, somebody from the council says that that's not legal or not appropriate, I want you to remember this moment and many other moments like this where just transpires. So what just happened is perfectly appropriate. The citizen asked a question and got an answer. And that's actually good, because it's edification. People learn, and you know, that's why government is here, is to be able to answer questions of the people, and so everything's fine. And just remember, next time when somebody says something that may be unpopular, or an unpopular person comes up here and says something, and asks for a question to be answered, you are entitled to answer the question. You don't have to legally, of course, but you could if you wanted to. Notwithstanding any shouts to the contrary from those that would try to stop that. So just remember that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I would like to take a personal point of privilege to let the speaker know and let the audience know that you can have substantive answers to questions when the item is agendized. So we have a motion and a second.
And Mayor, I'm confirming that this is for
all of the resolutions.
items 6.1 through 6.11 through 6.111.
That's correct.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Asher.
Aye.
Councilmember Atkin.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue.
Aye.
Mayor Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. This meeting is adjourned. Now, we're moving on to another brief meeting before we get to the main event. This is the City of Emeryville, its successor agency to the Emeryville Redevelopment Agency. The time is 7:20. Please note we are all still here, and at this time I would like to entertain public comment on this agenda for the successor agency. So is there Mr. Donahue, please step forward.
Okay, so for the record, the mayor was correct. The speaker at the last item talked about an agendized item, and you are allowed to talk about that even substantively. But also what I said, in fact, is true for comments that are not on the agenda or public comments at large, that you, in fact, can answer those kinds of comments as long as you don't engage in substantive discussion about it. Just so you know, that's legal. The Brown Act does provide for talking about questions or even attempting to answer questions from the citizenry, as long as it's not a substantive debate. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak at public comment? Please come forward, Mr. Carpio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I feel very honored to have all these children attending the City Council meeting. This is something special. I never seen anything like this here. I don't know who organized that, but anyway, congratulations, Mayor, if you are behind the move. Well, anyway, I want to, and this is an excellent opportunity for me to talk a little bit about history. And the history of this country has a real good thing, lots of good things. There is a couple of things that are not so good. And one I'm entertaining with is not really about civil rights, but it's about what the Constitution spells, the state and the federal Constitution. I'm not talking about the home rule here, but I'm saying that anybody who's charged with or alleged with a crime is entitled to a hearing. And I'm talking about Steve Wesley. Steve Wesley has been dismissed years ago, and I've been complaining about the man was unfairly discharged, proven to the contrary, and I stand that perhaps I may be the only one who say, but the man deserves a hearing, and I'm really waiting for someone in the new council to make the motion and second, so that the man could have a hearing. Otherwise, you'll be fall in the whole so-so of the old city council that just didn't care about what's the consequence of a reputation of this city. And I'm care about it. I don't want to live in a city in which the city council and the board of trustees discharge a man without a hearing. And because of that, I'm insisting one of you three has to make the motion so that Steve Wesley is entitled to a hearing. And the provision of the Education Code also said that as an administrator, he is entitled to free legal help. And so I really want to see that. So please do something I'm asking for. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward at this time? Okay, seeing none, we're moving on. There are no special orders of the day, so next...
Consent calendar. Second.
We have a motion on the consent calendar by Member Atkin and a second by Member Asher. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on the items on the consent calendar? Seeing none, is there any discussion? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Asher?
Aye.
Councilmember Atkin?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue?
Aye.
Mayor Martinez?
Aye. And this meeting is adjourned. Now,
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
6.1,
Sorry.
6.2.
We had two actions.
I move approval on 6.1 and 6.2. Second.
So we have
Question.
we have a motion by Member Atkin and a second by Member Asher. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on these items? Seeing none, is there any discussion? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
And this is as to 6.1 and 6.2.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Asher?
Aye.
Councilmember Atkin?
Aye.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue?
Aye.
And Mayor Martinez?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, and I apologize for my gaffe. I forgot to turn the page. And this meeting is now adjourned. Now we're moving on to the green agenda for anyone following along. It's 7:25. This is the regular meeting of Emeryville City Council. Calling this meeting to order. Would everyone please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please note we are all still here, and this is the exciting part of the meeting. We've got 3 special orders of the day. The first one is for the Red Cross. And would Sherry Aylesworth please step forward to be recognized? Sherry is representing the Red Cross tonight, and I will be reading this proclamation to you, Sherry.
Okay, thank you.
City of Emeryville proclamation proclaiming March 2016 as American Red Cross Month in the City of Emeryville. Whereas American Red Cross Month is a special time to recognize and thank our everyday heroes, those who reach out to help people in need, and whereas the American Red Cross heroes help disaster victims recover by giving blood to hospital patients, brightening the day of an injured service member, or by jumping to the occasion to help someone having a heart attack. And whereas we would like to remember our heroes here in the City of Emeryville who help people in need and work tirelessly to assist their neighbors when there's a need for a helping hand. And whereas across the country and around the world, the American Red Cross has responded to major disasters by providing assistance to people in desperate need by providing food, clothing, shelter, and mental health support. And whereas we dedicate the month of March to all those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. And whereas our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on the donations of time, money, and blood to fulfill its humanitarian mission. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed that I, Diane Martinez, Mayor of the City of Emeryville, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim March 2016 as American Red Cross Month in the City of Emeryville, and I encourage all Americans to support this organization and its noble humanitarian mission. Proclaimed this first day of March 2016 by the Mayor of Emeryville, me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sherry, this is for you.
Okay.
And would you like to say any words?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Sherry Aylesworth. I'm a member of the Alameda County Leadership Council. It is an honor to accept this proclamation from the City of Emeryville declaring March as Red Cross Month. We thank you for this honor. The Red Cross is devoted to disaster relief in our communities by responding to home fires, floods, earthquakes, forest fires, and other disasters in the community. We also provide services to our armed forces by connecting service members with their families when an emergency strikes, providing emergency financial assistance and other social services for military personnel and their families, and we collect and provide blood services. We have a long and illustrious history in the Bay Area, beginning with the 1906 earthquake, which shook the state only a year after the Red Cross was chartered by the United States Congress. In Alameda County, during 2015, the Red Cross responded to 173 local disaster incidents that helped 816 adults and 231 children affected in these disasters. Trained 21,859 people in preparedness, first aid, CPR, and aquatic safety skills. Collected 29,767 blood donations. Provided emergency services to 127 Alameda County military families. We partnered with local fire departments and schools around Alameda County on the Red Cross Home Fire Prevention campaign that addresses family safety in the event of a fire. Through this program, we installed 544 smoke alarms throughout the county in 2015. Additionally, this fall, we responded to the wildfires in Lake County, Napa, and Sonoma, and we have continued to respond to flooding disasters along the coast through the winter. Our public education program now includes useful Red Cross mobile apps, which are free. The emergency app will show you how to plan ahead for disasters as well as recover from them. Our new blood app helps simplify the process of giving blood. We also disseminate preparation tips for El Nino at our website. You go to the App Store, search for Red Cross, find the emergency or blood app, and then install. And again, I'd like to say it's free. As we continue to serve the people of Alameda County and throughout California, we especially would like to thank you and the city staff and departments of Emeryville who worked closely with the Red Cross to make Emeryville a better prepared city for all types of emergencies. We look forward to growing our relationship in 2016. On behalf of the Red Cross, Alameda County Leadership Council, and Disaster Cycle Services of Alameda County, we sincerely thank the City of Emeryville for this proclamation during the nationally designated Red Cross month of March. And I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We could take a brief picture right now. Yeah. Would you? Yeah, come on back. Or do you want to come back here with all of us, or would you like just a picture with me right here?
However, whatever works.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go over toward Nora.
Let's hold it open. I was just at a beauty pageant on Sunday. And I will email it. That was not the contestant.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Back to business. All right, I want to do the next proclamation slowly because after we're finished, I feel like I'm going to lose half of the audience in here. So we've got a proclamation of the City Council of the City of Emeryville celebrating Emeryville's 4-H one-year anniversary. And there's some special guests that I would like to call forward to the podium, please, so you can receive this proclamation. May I have President Lily Thomas please come forward? Vice President Nicholas Perez, please come forward. Treasurer Amy Cohen, please come forward. And Secretary Cora Carver, please step forward. I'd like to read this proclamation to you. City of Emeryville proclamation celebrating the one-year anniversary of the Emeryville 4-H Club. Whereas the 4-H program in Emeryville is celebrating its one-year anniversary and Emeryville 4-H is open to youth between the ages of 5 and 19, and whereas Escuela Bilingüe Internacional served as the original inspiration for, enabled the formation of, and generously continues to provide critical resources to support the flourishing of the Emeryville 4-H Club, and whereas 4-H is ranked 4th in total awareness amongst agencies serving youth, and whereas 4-H is the largest youth development organization in the nation, and whereas each of the 4-H's on the clover represent ways youth can grow and develop in 4-H. The first H, and this is an education for me, the first H stands for head, for critical thinking and problem solving. The second H stands for, do you kids know? It stands for heart. It's a test for self-discipline, integrity, and communication. How about the third H? The third H stands for hands, yes, and serving others. And the fourth H is for health and for choosing healthy lifestyles. And whereas as part of the 4-H experience, 4-H members are encouraged to learn about and contribute to the betterment of their communities, and 4-H also utilizes a variety of community resources to enhance the educational experience of members. And whereas 4-H addresses issues facing youth wherever they live in inner cities, suburbs, and rural communities and helps break barriers by focusing on learning by doing, and whereas 4-H builds youth self-esteem, leadership, and citizenship skills, and focuses on critical issues such as protecting the environment, and whereas 4-H has programs on food, nutrition, science and technology, natural resources, substance abuse prevention, growing plants, caring for farm animals, career education, community pride, citizenship, and leadership. Now, therefore, I, Diane Martinez, Mayor of the City of Emeryville of California, do hereby proclaim the City of Emeryville celebrates the 1-year anniversary of the Emeryville 4-H Club. In witness hereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Emeryville to be affixed this first day of March 2016. And I would like to invite this illustrious group to please provide your comments if you have any.
I'm Lily Thomas, and I'm the president of the Emeryville 4-H Club. Thank you for recognizing us as a club and honoring us with this resolution. A couple of projects that I've been in are first aid and book publishing.
Good evening. My name is Nicolas Perez, and I'm the...
Nicholas, could you put the microphone down so it's pointed towards your mouth? Thank you. You're being broadcast on TV.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Nicolas Perez, and I'm the vice president of the Emeryville 4-H Club. I've been in the chicken coop and first aid projects. 4-H has given me the opportunity to speak publicly and learn leadership skills.
Hello, Mayor Martinez and council members. My name is Cora. I'm the secretary of Emeryville 4-H Club. I'm in the folk arts and the camping group in 4-H, and I like 4-H because it gives me a chance to bond with other kids my age, and it helps me learn important life skills and introduces me to fun activities.
My name is Amy Cohen. I'm the 4-H treasurer. I've been in book publishing and raising chickens. We'd like to thank EBI. This wouldn't have been possible without them. Thank you, Mayor Martinez and the City Council for inviting us here.
I would like to thank the kids, and I would like to call a 1-minute recess so I could take a picture with them. Quick, so who would like to hold this? Why don't you line up right here? Right here in front of the table. I'm tall, so I'll stand in the back. And I'd like to invite my colleagues, if you'd like to come down and be in the picture, please.
You were in 4-H? Ron, were you really?
Bring in council members.
Did you really?
Yeah, you guys come in right here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome.
There we are.
We always had horses. I thought it was like a rural thing.
That's what I thought too. When I saw it, I'm like, I didn't realize it was a city.
Yeah, I didn't know about it either. I'm going to let my daughter know about this.
Any more phones?
Big smile. Big smile.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much.
You gotta wait. One more.
This is some new level of civility.
All right, Reese, I'll let the chambers clear and then I'll call this back in.
Of course,
I mean, compared to the history of it all, just like.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm calling the meeting back to order. And the fun is not over because we have yet another proclamation. This is a proclamation of the City of Emeryville proclaiming March 2016 as Youth Art Month in the City of Emeryville. And may I ask Sharon Wilshire to come up to receive the proclamation? The City of Emeryville proclamation proclaiming the month of March 2016 as Youth Art Month in the City of Emeryville. Whereas every year, the month of March has been declared National Youth Art Month across the United States, and whereas the Emory Unified School District and Emeryville Artists Cooperative sponsor programs to promote youth art in their curriculum, and whereas this is the 33rd year that cooperative venture between the school district and the Emeryville Artists Cooperative has provided youth-related art instruction, and whereas the city of Emeryville wishes to publicly recognize and support these youth art programs, its students, artists, and instructors, and whereas these programs enrich our city, residents, and business community. Now, therefore, I, Diane Martinez, Mayor of Emeryville, on behalf of the Emeryville City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2016 as Youth Art Month in the city of Emeryville to reaffirm our commitment to youth art education and youth art programs, proclaimed this first day of March 2016 at the regular meeting of City Council by the Mayor of the city of Emeryville. And Sharon, do you have some words to share with us?
Thank you. Yes, Sharon Wilshire, Community Liaison for the 45th Street Artists Co-op and the coordinator of the co-op's Emeryville Youth Art Program. And I have just a few things to say, but I just wanted to say what an impressive group of young people who were just here. That's just wonderful. And also learning more about the program. I want to thank the City of Emeryville and also each of you council members who continue to value the importance of arts enrichment at Emory Unified, but also in the city's youth programs, and your acknowledgement of Youth Art Month in our city and also Artist Education Month in Alameda County. And certainly invite the public to visit this month, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 if you check in at the reception desk downstairs to go up to the upper link and to view the student work, or if you're coming to the next council meeting or a planning commission meeting to do the same. I just wanted to also thank a couple of people, certainly Allison Henley, who is the new art teacher at Emory Secondary, and Jeff Margolin from the Artists Co-op. And I know a couple of the city staff have been asking me, where are the self-portraits that we usually have? With a new teacher this year, that schedule's a little bit behind. They're working on them right now, and she's assured me that if they're finished within the next week or two, I'll bring some over and put them on display here. Also wanted to thank with community services at the Recreation Center, Tamika Wright and Aja Pijot, and at ECDC, Tanya Harris, Nizam Edamati, Samantha, and Steve. Thank you so much for organizing things on that end. And an interesting, one of the projects that they did at the Child Development Center were the preschool, the Golden Beaver class of 2015-16 did selfies, and then they had them place on a map of Emeryville where they thought they lived. So I just also want to thank all the members of the 45th Street Artists Co-op for 33 years of this program, and also want to acknowledge Kala, who also participates at Emory Unified. So thank you very, very much. We really appreciate this recognition.
Great, thank you, Sharon. At this time, I will entertain public comment on any of our consent items or items not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Emeryville City Council. Is there anyone who'd like to come forward and speak?
Hi, my name is Judy Greenspan. I'm not a resident of Emeryville. I'm actually a resident of Berkeley, but I have worked in Emeryville as a substitute teacher, and I also attend a martial arts class right at 47th and San Pablo. I also do a lot of shopping in Emeryville, as many of us do. I'm here because I'm particularly concerned about an item that I think has been sort of dragging its feet through the council, and I would like to figure out a way to speed it up. Over a year ago, the Emeryville police shot and killed a woman by the name of Yvette Henderson. And I am a public school teacher, and as a school teacher, I am very, very concerned about assault rifles and violence in the community. And I believe that in this instance, the police of Emeryville committed a crime, which I think, I'm not talking about at this point conviction or anything like that, but I think that there is a very simple thing that the city council could do. I believe it's time to ban assault rifles from the police department, and to, at the very least, hold an open hearing that people in the city of Emeryville can come to and learn about and speak out against. I know this issue has been dragging through this committee, that committee, whatever, but the fact is that as a taxpayer, as a shopper, as a human being, as somebody who believes that people should not be gunned down in the street for the crime of shoplifting, should that have occurred, and also as someone who believes that assault rifles do not have a place in any community, not in Berkeley, not in Emeryville, not in Oakland, not in any community. And so we have to figure out a better way to do it. I mean, I teach in Richmond, which is, unfortunately, the past 2 weeks there have been 6 shootings. I mean, there's an epidemic of shootings. I know that the Richmond police know that assault rifles are not the answer. And I also know that teachers in the schools are very, very concerned. And when you take out assault rifles and start shooting people, many people are caught in the crossfire. I fear for the children who are here. I fear for the people of Emeryville. And I also fear for the type of violence that has been perpetuated against Yvette Henderson, against her family, and I really do believe that the issue can easily be dealt with. And I will tell you that if Emeryville makes that step and says, we're going to put away our assault rifles, I think that that's a step that could actually snowball and cause many other communities in the state of California to do the same. So that's why I'm here, out of great concern. And again, like I said, it's been a year, over a year. I was at a service that we held actually on the street corner where Yvette Henderson was killed by the police a little over 2 weeks ago. So I leave this in your hands, and I really would like it. I know it's not agendized, but we'd like it to be agendized, and we would very much like it to be discussed by the full council and have an open hearing so that people in the city can take a stand on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward and speak? Please do.
Hi, my name's Maddie. I live and I work in Emeryville, but I'm here as a representative of both the Anti-Police Terror Project and Showing Up for Racial Justice. And hopefully you all are familiar with those organizations because we've been here a couple of times and we've been doing a lot of things, as the person before me pointed out. So we're coming here to this meeting just to say that we are asking you, we want a resolution to be brought forward by one of your council people, getting rid of AR-15s and assault rifles from the Emeryville Police Department, and that we are going to continue to push this until that happens and it is passed. So I also would like to acknowledge that we are on Ohlone land. I think that's something that you should consider doing at the beginning of all of your meetings. That's something that the organization that I'm a part of does, is we acknowledge that we are colonizers on Ohlone land, and that should be the beginning of every meeting that happens. It's made up of mostly colonizers. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
I'd like to add my voice to the previous 2 speakers' call for disallowing the Emeryville Police Department to carry AR-15 assault rifles. And the first step here is to get our chief of police on board, because as of now, she doesn't even acknowledge that AR-15s are AR-15 assault rifles are in fact assault rifles. She's maintaining that they are not assault rifles. She's going around spending police resources to tell people in Emeryville, different groups, that they are in fact not assault rifles, what she alleges. But that puts her at odds with the United States Congress and the state of California, who says that they in fact are assault rifles. Also, other organizations that say the AR-15s are in fact assault rifles are the police department of the city of Berkeley, Police Department of the City of Oakland, Police Department of the City of San Francisco, the Police Department of the City of San Jose. They all say that AR-15, Colt AR-15s, in fact, are assault rifles. Our chief of police stands alone here. So I think the first step to here is to get our chief of police to tell us how she's determined that, in fact, that they are not assault rifles, and I think that's the first step to trying to achieve what we're trying to achieve, which is to disarm the Emeryville police from these weapons. Perhaps they could be stored at the police station, but they should not be carried by our Emeryville police. New subject. 1 month ago, there was a special meeting. Here's a notice for it. This notice was received by every Emeryville household. Special meeting of the Emeryville Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. Learn about the Horton Street Bike Boulevard traffic calming proposals, it says. Come share your thoughts. So it's inviting everybody in Emeryville to come to this meeting that happened exactly 1 month ago on February 1st. On the back here, it says here, this meeting will give members of the community an opportunity to offer ideas and discuss options with city staff, the consultant in Emeryville's Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. And I'm here to tell you that, in fact, that meeting did not offer citizens the opportunity to do that because the staff saw to it that at least one member of the public, me, was not allowed to comment. The staff person charged with facilitating the meeting interrupted me. It would not let me speak like she allowed other members of the public to speak. I tried to present my ideas and I was shouted down. And so, in fact, this card is erroneous. This is not what happened.
That's your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Carpio?
I would like to comment on the police action in shooting Yvette Anderson. The police say that their officer had a body camera that was supposed to record the event. But it turned out that they did not record the event for one reason or one other. And I'm not trying to sneak around and try to find out where the truth is. But these cameras also have the ability of transmitting the image they receive. And so what I'm saying is that what the officer sees by the camera can be transmitted to his superior. And so the police action, instead of being individual policemen, can be decided as a team. If the transmission of the camera is transferred to the headquarters where the surgeon who is in charge of the patrol or the man present at the scene can decide and advise what to do. Because to let that to individual policemen is really depressing, because it depends on the emotion of the police who is facing the criminal or the supposedly criminal, and that can be wrong. And I think in Yvette Anderson, it could be that the police reacted wrongfully, and I do not know the detail, I wasn't there. But it's my impression that when something is decided individually, one or two persons, then the area of mistake greatly increase. And not only that, the responsibility falls on the individual without their superior knowing exactly what happened. And this creates conflict and discomfort within the police department. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, we don't have any study sessions today. Is there a city manager's report?
Madam Mayor, at this time I'd like to turn the program over to Community Services Director Pedro Jimenez to make some announcements about some very special events and activities coming up.
Yes, good evening. Wanted to announce that we have a parent night out scheduled for Friday, March 11th from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Rec Center. We also have the skate park ribbon cutting ceremony scheduled for March 19th at 11 a.m. And we have the Spring Carnival egg hunt on March 26th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Where will the egg hunt be?
At Doyle Hollis
At
Park.
Doyle.
Sorry.
And also to Community Development Director Charlie Bryant to make some announcements.
Just one. I believe you've all received this postcard. There is a community meeting this Saturday on the Public Art Master Plan. It will be held at the Ralph Hawley Middle School site on 61st Street from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and all members of the community are invited to attend.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. I just have one thing to add for those who wish to attend the skate park ribbon cutting with your skateboards. Please wear your safety gear because we passed an ordinance that you need to. So, because we'll all be there with you. we would like you to have your helmet and your pads on. So,
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Member Davis, a second by Member Asher. Is there anyone in the public who would wish to speak on the consent calendar? Seeing none, is there any discussion? Any items that anyone would like to pull? No. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Asher.
Aye.
Councilmember Atkin.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue.
Aye.
Mayor Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. There are no public hearings tonight. We are on to action items. So we have item 8.1, resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville approving the appropriation to fund salaries and benefits for ECDC, the Emeryville Child Development Center reorganization. And
Move approval. Second.
we have a motion, and we have by Member Davis, a second by Member Asher. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? And Pedro, it sounds like we don't need you to read the whole staff report to us. We've all read it. Is there any discussion? Okay, so will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Asher.
Aye.
Councilmember Atkin.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue.
Aye.
Mayor Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously.
Very good. Okay, moving on to item 8.2. This is the authorization to join the proposed amicus brief regarding the Supreme Court appeal on immigration executive action. And I would be happy to read the staff report to you folks if you'd like.
Why don't you just move approval and we can second it?
Well, since I brought this forward, I will move approval
Second.
of item 8.2. Okay, so we have a motion by me. I heard the second by Member Asher. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on the amicus brief? There's not. Is there any discussion? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Asher.
Aye.
Councilmember Atkin.
Aye.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Donahue.
Aye.
Mayor Martinez.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously.
I would like to thank my colleagues for considering that. We're just under the deadline to get this in, and it's very important. There's nothing under City as Housing Successor. We are moving on to communication and reports to department heads, and I'm sending this to Charlie first.
All right, thank you, Mayor Martinez. This is my report on the Planning Commission's actions at their last meeting on February 25th, last Thursday. They held a public hearing on the draft environmental impact report for the Sherwin-Williams project. This was an opportunity for the public to submit verbal comments on the draft EIR in addition to or instead of written comments. A number of members of the public commented at the public hearing. All comments will be responded to in the final EIR, which will be prepared after the close of the public comment period on March 8th. The Marketplace Redevelopment Project Parcel B, which is the garage and retail building, the last major building at the Marketplace requiring Planning Commission approval, was to be considered at the February 25th meeting, but at the request of the applicant, it was continued to a future meeting. It is now tentatively scheduled for the May 26th Planning Commission meeting. The Commission considered a new unit at 1056 45th Street. This is a new unit behind an existing duplex for a total of 3 units on the lot. The commission approved it unanimously with some recommendations to the applicant for improving the floor plans, and there were no public speakers on this item. The commission considered high-rise identification signs for Sutter Health at 2000 Powell Street. This was a new application in lieu of a previous proposal that was denied by the commission on October 22nd. This proposal removed the sign from the east side of the building and replaced it with a new sign on the north side of the building. Residents of Pacific Park Plaza, who had opposed the previous proposal, supported this one and praised Sutter Health's spirit of cooperation. The commission approved this application unanimously. And finally, the commission heard an informational report that they had previously requested on a comparison of affordable housing requirements of recently approved multi-unit residential projects. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to respond to any questions.
I have some questions. I was just wondering if you could provide some of the sentiment that was expressed regarding the public hearing on the draft EIR.
Well, that's a little hard to characterize. There were a lot of comments made. There were some folks there who commented that they felt that the site had not been completely cleaned up, and they've requested further information on the status of the cleanup action. There was a lot of discussion about traffic impacts and alternatives to the proposed project. Trying to remember what all people said. There were probably 20 or 30 speakers. I didn't count them, but that was my sense. It was that order of magnitude. And they've raised a variety of issues.
And all of the issues will be addressed in the...
They will all be addressed, yes. They will all be addressed. And the final EIR consists of the draft EIR and what's called a response to comments document. And the two of those together make up the final EIR. The response to comment document also will include any revisions to the draft EIR that may be necessary. So if as a result of these comments further study or analysis is needed on any topic, that will also be included in the response to comments document.
Okay.
I have one comment. It's on item number C. Charlie, I'm not going to call it for review, but I just wanted to note in following the discussions, or not C, I'm sorry, D, in following the discussions around the Sutter Health sign, one of the comments that kept coming up from residents was the cumulative effect of the signage. And I want us to start tracking this and thinking about it, and if necessary, address it, because I'm not sure why we need so many signs, especially for which, I mean, this sign seems like advertising for me. That's not a hospital, right? And I think that some of those concerns, while they may have been mitigated through this discussion, that's a really important issue, and that we need to consider that going forward.
The Planning Commission will be reviewing the sign regulations in their totality within the coming months.
Okay, thank you, Charlie.
And any revisions to the regulations obviously will come forward to the council for a final decision.
Okay, thanks.
Are there any other reports from our department heads? Not. Item 10.2, council members. I have one thing that I'd like to bring up. At the kind of at the close of our budget kickoff meeting, the Art Center was mentioned briefly, and I overheard Nora say that this would be a good opportunity for a public-private partnership. And I've been turning that over in my head a lot, and I'm interested in going out and exploring what's out there in terms of who, where could we get someone to finance bringing the Art Center together. And I just wanted to take the temperature of my colleagues to see if that was something that you'd be interested in me doing, or if you would like to wait for a time where we would be able to provide the full, I think it's $4 million something to bring the Art Center to to fruition as originally planned in the plans that I have seen that the city has did draw up. So I guess what I'm offering is, do we wait and hope that the money comes somehow and budget for it?
Go out,
or do we? Okay, I am happy to beat the bushes, but I do want to just say that this, as a public-private partnership, we may be giving up some of what we originally planned for in the original plans. The whole property won't necessarily be city-run 24/7. I think there's a good way to do it where a business would be able to occupy some of it for part of the time for a limited amount of time into the future, and then the city could take it over. But I think and as an alternative to letting that building lay fallow, I think there are a couple of trees I'd like to shake in the business community.
Go for it.
Well, very good. Is there anything else anyone would like to bring up under council members? Okay, and we're moving on to the next item. Council members reporting on meetings attended? That is a no. There are no community advisory vacancies. Our next meeting will be on March 15th, and that adjourns this meeting.
Wow.